Our story begins with a Lloyd, a boy who born in a village so absurdly powerful that even an ordinary resident there possessed strength equal to an entire army, a place where even small children casually played with dragons as if they were pets, and monsters feared by the outside world were treated as nothing more than wild animals. When Lloyd finally left this village and stepped into the wider world, everyone he met assumed he was nothing more than a weak, harmless child, completely unaware that he was so overwhelmingly strong that defeating a demon lord would be no more difficult for him than swatting a fly. The story begins in a dense forest where a small boy hides behind bushes, carefully watching a rabbit, but the moment he leaps forward to catch it, the rabbit effortlessly beats him instead, leaving the boy crying on the ground. This boy is Lloyd, who had come to hunt in the forest, and as he sobs from the humiliation, his older brother Shoma arrives and easily captures the same rabbit, making Lloyd light up with joy because it had been so long since he last saw him. On the way home, Lloyd asks Shoma what the outside world is like, admitting that he wants to see it someday too, and Shoma gently assures him that he will, once he grows a little older, before gifting him a book about ancient heroes, something that fills Lloyd with excitement and admiration. Years later, Lloyd has grown and finally entered the outside world, wandering until he stumbles upon the home of a witch named Marie. The moment he steps inside, she bluntly reminds him that witches grant wishes for a price and demands to know what he is willing to sacrifice, but Lloyd innocently explains that he has no wish at all and has only traveled a long distance to become a soldier, asking merely for a place to stay until his exam. Offended, Marie lashes out, accusing him of mistaking her home for an inn, until Lloyd calmly explains that he comes from Clone Village and that the village chief's name is Alka, placing a mysterious orb on the table. The moment Marie sees it, she panics, as Alka herself appears from within the orb as a projection, revealing that she was once Marie's master. Alka casually tells her not to be afraid, explaining she is not physically present, then scolds Marie for her behavior and declares that Lloyd will stay there until he passes his final soldier exam, cursing Marie with a day of bad luck as punishment. Marie explains that ancient witches like Alka have existed since ancient times and possess power great enough to destroy the entire world if they wished, forming a civilization separate from ordinary humans. Once Alka disappears, Marie vents her rage on the orb, though she has no choice but to accept Lloyd's stay, and despite herself, she begins to find him strangely endearing, only to be cursed again by Alka for disrespecting her senior. The next morning, Marie wakes to find Lloyd has already prepared fresh breakfast by himself, something she hasn't enjoyed in a long time, and as they talk, Lloyd shares how his brother taught him everything and how he owes his journey to him. Marie reminds him that the soldier exam includes both combat and magic tests, but Lloyd casually mentions he first needs to improve his stamina since it took him 6 days to reach the city, shocking Marie when she realizes he ran the entire distance without rest, proudly adding that his grandfather used to cover the same distance in just 2 days. When Marie says it's lucky he didn't encounter monsters, Lloyd innocently mentions fighting fire-breathing lizards and giant mantises along the way, not realizing those were considered monsters because to him, only demon lords qualify as such. During breakfast, Lloyd accidentally drops tea on Marie's face, then wipes it with a handkerchief enchanted to clean and make things shine, leaving Marie horrified when she realizes he used an extremely high-level magical item on her face. Later, Lloyd enters the city and learns about an upcoming festival where military academy candidates will gather, some even accompanied by dangerous monsters. Meanwhile, a mysterious girl hiding her face wanders the city and collides with a soldier who recognizes her, hinting that powerful individuals are already moving within this seemingly ordinary world, unaware that Lloyd's arrival is about to quietly shatter every common belief they hold. The girl silently walked away without answering, but as soon as she slipped into a narrow alley to hide herself, a giant mantis monster suddenly lunged at her, leaving her no time to react, and just before it could devour her, Lloyd appeared and in a single instant crushed the monster and hurled it into the sky as if it weighed nothing. He gently helped the girl up, asking if she was hurt, and wiped her face with his enchanted handkerchief, but she quickly covered her face again, hiding her identity and introducing herself as Selene. Lloyd, clearly in a hurry, only told her his name before leaping away across the rooftops, leaving Selene staring after him with a racing heart because no one had ever treated her with such kindness before. In truth, Selene was a cursed princess who had been forced to keep her face hidden for years due to an unbearable debt-like curse, enduring insults and hatred from others, and even when her father once sought a magician to cure her, the man refused and instead foretold that one day someone would appear who would free her from the curse. Overcome with emotion, Selene finally removed the cloth from her face and stared in disbelief as she realized the curse was gone, unknowingly erased when Lloyd had wiped her face with his magically purified handkerchief. Meanwhile, Lloyd returned from the market carrying vegetables to cook and even bought a gift for Marie with his remaining money. Elsewhere, 2 soldiers in uniform carefully observed the city. One of them, a senior senior officer named Mato, tasked with maintaining order due to rising political tension between nations, and their attention soon fell on Riho Levin, known as the One-Armed Machinery, a dangerous individual with multiple arrest warrants. Though Mato noted that as long as her contract with the army remained valid, her crimes would be forgiven once she officially enlisted. Their focus then shifted to Lloyd, the same boy Selene had collided with earlier, and when Selene, now revealed as a princess, was questioned about removing her veil, she again left without answering. Shortly after, Lloyd casually sat beside Riho, whose instincts screamed danger as she felt an aura so overwhelming it resembled sitting next to a monster, yet Lloyd merely expressed curiosity about her mechanical arm and introduced himself. Before Riho could respond, Selene stormed in and struck Riho aside, openly declaring her devotion to Lloyd, whom she now viewed as her savior, and when Lloyd asked if she was also joining the army, their conversation distracted Riho enough for her to attempt escape, only to be stopped by Selene's possessiveness. The soldier entrance test soon began, with candidates ordered to attack a massive stone target under Matho's watchful eye. Particularly focused on Lloyd, whose potential he vaguely sensed, and when Riho's group was called, Matho warned her that any trouble would land her in prison for good. At the same time, Alka returned to Marie, visibly anxious about Lloyd's results, and by evening, candidates searched the results board, only for Lloyd to find his name missing entirely. The next day, the selected recruits gathered in class, and Matho was deeply disturbed to learn Lloyd had failed, something he believed impossible, though his concerns were dismissed as political tensions took priority, until the commander announced that the greatest current crisis was the disappearance of Princess Maria and offered a massive reward to anyone who found her. Meanwhile, Lloyd wandered the city, troubled by his failure and wondering if he lacked something, when he noticed a restaurant hiring sign and decided to apply for work, only for the owner to suddenly attack him, instantly backing down when Lloyd effortlessly evaded and released an aura so terrifying it left the man trembling. After calming the misunderstanding, Lloyd demonstrated his skills by cooking with precision that reflected years of experience, explaining he had failed the exam and wanted to prepare to retake it rather than return home empty-handed. Elsewhere, Mato, Selene, and Riho examined Lloyd's answer sheet and discovered he hadn't failed the physical test at all, but the written exam, because instead of normal answers, he had drawn strange symbols, which the commander recognized as ancient characters capable of representing magical power itself, something far beyond ordinary knowledge. Further investigation revealed that Lloyd had even cast a weather-controlling spell during the practical exam, confirming that his power surpassed all expectations, forcing them to realize they needed to find him immediately. While back at the restaurant, the owner hesitated to taste Lloyd's dish, fearing poison, completely unaware that the boy standing before him was the most dangerous and extraordinary existence the city had ever encountered. The restaurant owner, who finally tasted the dish Lloyd had prepared, was left completely speechless, unable to believe that a child could cook something so incredibly refined, and after introducing himself as Chroma, he immediately decided to hire Lloyd on the spot. Meanwhile, Mato, Selene, Riho, and the others continued searching desperately for Lloyd, until Selene suggested they temporarily focus on finding Princess Maria first, and later invite Lloyd to the celebration ceremony planned after her recovery. That evening, when Lloyd returned home and Marie learned he had failed the exam, both she and Alka were stunned, and before Alka could punish Marie out of anger, Lloyd politely stopped her and asked to be allowed to retake the exam next year, explaining that he now had a part-time job and wished to continue staying with Marie, a request Marie accepted, forcing Alka to reluctantly agree. Since Lloyd would remain there, Alka decided she might stay as well, only for Marie to argue that she should focus on protecting the kingdom instead, warning of the growing danger surrounding Ajami and the upcoming festival, where visitors from many regions would gather, creating the perfect opportunity for the Geo Empire to start a war. Alka coldly dismissed the concern, stating that humans had caused their own conflicts and must face the consequences themselves, leaving Marie with a final warning that dragging Lloyd into the war would doom the kingdom, before cursing Marie once again after overhearing her insults, causing Marie to angrily throw Alka's magical crystal ball into a well. The next day, Riho and Matho arrived at Chroma's restaurant while continuing their search for Lloyd, noticing that unlike the rest of the city, this area was spotless and full of lively customers, something that felt suspicious, and when they tasted the food, Matho was stunned by its quality, demanding to know who had been hired, only for Lloyd himself to appear carrying dishes, leaving both of them utterly shocked. As Lloyd stepped outside, he spotted Marie being chased by strangers, while elsewhere, Selene violently attacked a man who tried to stop her from searching for Lloyd, provoking Alan into drawing his sword, only for Selene's enchanted belt to deflect his attack, making her believe even this was a miracle caused by Lloyd. When Lloyd arrived, Selene boldly declared him her future husband and demanded Alan fight him, though Alan refused, only to be forced by Matho, while Colin supported the fight in hopes of seeing Lloyd's true strength. But just as Lloyd prepared to strike, a violent gust of wind erupted and he vanished, having been dragged away by Marie, who scolded him for nearly fighting, unaware that she had actually saved Alan's life. Chroma soon arrived, bowed before Marie, and revealed that he had once resigned from the army to open the cafe, discussing the looming war and the danger surrounding the upcoming international summit, while Matho elsewhere reflected on his tragic past, revealing that the Geo Empire had destroyed his village and family years ago, leaving him desperate to prevent another senseless war. Selene, heartbroken at losing Lloyd again, later arrived with Riho at Marie's house to search for Princess Maria, only to be shocked when Lloyd himself opened the door, leading Selene to panic at the thought of him living with a witch, though she quickly reassured herself of their destined bond. Inside, Lloyd served tea, making Riho realize Selene viewed him as a god, and when Marie appeared casually and unaware of her guests, the atmosphere instantly collapsed, leading to introductions that filled Selene with barely contained hostility. Riho then revealed they were searching for Princess Maria by showing her portrait, which looked identical to Marie, causing her to panic internally, and it was finally revealed that Marie was indeed Princess Maria, though she had kept it hidden. When Lloyd returned with coffee and declared Marie to be the kingdom's savior, mistaking her for a secret agent, Marie played along, only to refuse Lloyd's request to fight beside her, telling him he was too weak, words that deeply wounded him and drove him away. Marie then admitted her true identity to Selene and Riho and explained the existence of Clone Village and Lloyd's origin, revealing that Alka wished to keep him uninvolved, while a mastermind sought to use Princess Maria as a catalyst to start the war. Understanding the situation, Selene and Riho agreed to help, and as the festival drew closer, Marie later confronted Alka again, only to be cursed once more. During the festival, Alka attempted to distract Lloyd with games, but his heart remained heavy, knowing the danger approaching the people, and suddenly, massive monsters stormed the festival, slaughtering civilians. While at the palace, Chroma exposed Matho as the true mastermind controlling the king to provoke war against the Geo Empire. Marie arrived with Selene and Riho, revealing her identity, but Matho mocked them, claiming the king was under his control, only for the king to suddenly attack him, revealing that a demon had possessed him instead and transformed Matho into a monster before escaping. Riho fought to stop Matho while Marie chased after her father's possessed body, attacking with her full power, only to be deceived by the demon's illusion and gravely injured. As Marie realized she was facing the Demon King himself, Lloyd was shown battling monsters at the festival, declaring he had to go save Marie, while Marie, recalling Alka's words about Clone Village only intervening when humanity failed, was forced to retreat for now. Vowing vengeance, as Lloyd rushed toward the castle, noticing Alan struggling against a monster, Alan had been hiding to avoid the monsters, completely terrified at the sight of them, and while he was trying to explain his situation, Lloyd casually appeared and defeated a massive monster with just a single finger, leaving Alan frozen in shock as he realized what he had just witnessed. In that moment, Alan understood how shameful it would be to retreat when even a child like Lloyd was willing to fight to protect the kingdom, so he gathered his courage and joined the battle. Suddenly, a massive magical circle covered the entire city, created by Alka, who furiously declared that the festival had been ruined and erased all the monsters with a single overwhelming attack. Elsewhere, Matho's monstrous form held everyone hostage, and realizing they could not win without Lloyd, Riho insisted they had to call him, while Selene deliberately stepped forward to place herself in danger, confident Lloyd would come for her, as Matho's attacks were repeatedly blocked by her enchanted belt, which only strengthened her belief that Lloyd was protecting her even from afar. Just as Riho prepared to call for Lloyd, he appeared on his own, ignoring Selene's attempt to hug him and instead rushing to check on Chroma's condition, politely asking if he was injured. Once Lloyd understood the situation, he confronted Matho, questioning why a soldier would cause such destruction, and before anyone could react, Lloyd defeated him effortlessly with a single finger. When Matho attacked again, Lloyd headbutted him so hard that his soul nearly left his body, and as Lloyd rushed to save him, Marie arrived, realizing that only Lloyd could protect them now, followed immediately by the Demon Lord himself. Lloyd innocently warned the Demon Lord, mistaking him for an uncle who had wandered into danger, prompting Marie to reveal the truth that the king was possessed by a Demon Lord who sought only destruction. Pretending it was nothing more than dirt, Marie asked Lloyd to clean the creature, and Lloyd obediently wiped the Demon Lord with his enchanted handkerchief, humiliating and purifying him in the most undignified defeat imaginable, causing the Demon Lord to flee in disbelief. Lloyd then healed Marie's wounded hand with the same handkerchief, leading her to apologize tearfully as they embraced. The next morning, festival preparations resumed, and Lloyd reunited with his older brother Shoma, who praised him for defeating a Demon Lord at such a young age, revealing he had come to Ajami seeking answers of his own, though he quickly fled upon spotting Alka, who grew suspicious of his presence. Elsewhere, Matho fled into the forest only to be hunted by a monstrous rabbit, until Alka effortlessly killed it and brought Matho to wheat fields she had cultivated cultivated to feed the needy for years, triggering his realization that she was the mysterious savior from his childhood, and she sentenced him to remain there to tend the crops as punishment for attempting to start a war. When Alka returned home and caught Lloyd changing clothes, Marie furiously threw her out, and despite being urged to return to the palace now that her father was safe, Marie chose to stay. Lloyd soon emerged wearing a soldier's uniform, stunning Alka, Selene, and Riho, and it was revealed he had finally been admitted to the academy for defeating the Demon Lord. That night, Lloyd, Marie, and Chroma traveled to a village where Marie tricked Lloyd into pulling a legendary holy sword from the ground under the guise of cleaning trash, shocking the village chief who had been exploiting it for tourism, after which they planned to expose it publicly and replace it with replicas. The next day at the academy, Lloyd's speed left everyone terrified, and training began for the upcoming inter-school league competition but against Rockjo Magic School, which their academy had lost for 3 consecutive years. During spell practice, Selene and Riho performed well, but Lloyd accidentally obliterated the entire training statue with overwhelming power, forcing Colin to restart the test, where Lloyd again destroyed everything in a single attack. Selene then requested to learn healing magic, and despite its difficulty, Lloyd eagerly joined, using Alan as a test subject. While at Marie's home, 2 sisters from Rockjo Magic School appeared searching for Riho, only for Philo to kick Lloyd uselessly and immediately become obsessed with him, though Marie threw them out. Alka later cursed Marie again for visiting the Holy Sword Village, turning her into a butterfly, and as the academy continued training, Colin revealed her obsession with defeating a rival known as the Snake Woman, Riol, the cunning headmaster of Rockjo Magic School, who soon arrived with the Cannon sisters and attempted to manipulate Riho. Meanwhile, Philo clung to Lloyd, driving Selene mad with jealousy, and later, Lloyd confided in Marie about wanting to grow closer to someone, mistakenly encouraged by Marie, who believed he meant her, only to be shocked when Lloyd asked Riho out on a date the next day, sending Selene into emotional collapse. As Lloyd and Riho talked at a cafe, Selene watched sadly from outside, breaking Alan's leg in rage when he recognized her, while Riho revealed her tragic past, her orphanage, her bond with Riol, the loss of her arm, and the mechanical arm she received, confessing her self-hatred, which Lloyd gently dispelled by assuring her she was valued just as she was. The next day, a practice match between the 2 schools was announced, with Selene and Riho facing the Cannon sisters, and just as the match was about to begin, a commanding female voice echoed through the arena, introducing Minoko, the second-year head, signaling that the true test was only just beginning. Minoko announced that she wanted to fight the child named Lloyd, claiming she had heard many rumors about him, but before facing Lloyd, she decided to demonstrate her power by fighting Philo, only to be instantly defeated by a single counterattack, after which she coldly pushed away anyone trying to help her. That evening, Minoko visited Marie for treatment, revealing through their conversation that they already knew each other from the past, and when Lloyd appeared, Marie quickly dragged him into the kitchen to cook, fearing Alka's wrath, which caused Minoko to leave quietly, clearly displeased by how much attention Marie gave Lloyd. The inter-school competition began the next day, where Riol and Riho clashed verbally over their past until Chroma revealed the tournament prize to be the legendary Holy Sword, shocking both of them, and when Riho realized it was real, she insisted on joining the competition herself. Alka tried to stop Marie from leaving to watch Lloyd's match, threatening her with intense pain, yet Marie endured it anyway. The first match between Selene and Philo quickly turned against Selene when her belt failed to protect her, forcing her to retreat until she was disqualified for using physical force, followed by Lloyd's match against Minoko, where Minoko trapped his head in water magic, only for Lloyd to remain unaffected for 30 minutes before casually overpowering her with less than half his strength. The final match between Riho and Riol shocked everyone when Riol severed Riho's mechanical arm, believing she had won, only for Riho to reveal her trick by striking with magically healed hands using hidden magic stones, frightening Riol into fainting before the spell was even completed. Later, as Minoko and Riol were treated, Riol devised a new plan and sent Philo to lure Marie, who unknowingly stole Alka's crystal ball, believing it valuable. When Lloyd returned home, he found the house in ruins and a letter stating Marie had been kidnapped and ordering him to come to the lighthouse. At the lighthouse, Philo attacked Lloyd to avenge Minoko, but her blows couldn't even scratch him, and Lloyd proposed a condition that she reveal Marie's location if she lost. Alan arrived to safeguard the Holy Sword, which Lloyd entrusted to him, choosing instead to fight Philo in a traditional clone village arm wrestling match, a clash so intense it created violent storms and shattered the surroundings. When Riol's ally attempted to steal the sword, Minoko intervened, trapping him, opposing Riol's manipulation of Philo, and as Lloyd neared defeat, he launched both of them skyward, creating a massive magical explosion that ended the duel with Lloyd victorious. Philo, overwhelmed by his strength, proposed marriage on the spot, only for Lloyd to learn that Marie had never been kidnapped at all. Enraged, Alka emerged from the crystal ball, blasted Riel into a river for involving Lloyd, and the next day it was revealed that the holy sword had been returned to the royal treasury, while Riho lay injured in the hospital, visited by an elderly man who greeted her warmly, hinting that far greater events were still to come. Using magic, the mysterious man erased part of Riel's memories and left confidently, believing he could no longer be traced, though his true identity was still unknown, with his real goal being to obtain the holy sword and open the last dungeon at the far edge of the world in order to kill Alka. That night, the Cannon sisters discovered one of their companions unconscious in the forest with no visible injuries, and from their conversation, it became clear they were secretly investigating a larger case. As summer vacation approached, Riho asked Lloyd if he wanted to travel together, but Selene suddenly appeared, devastated because her family had ordered her to return home, joking darkly that she would even burn her house down if it meant spending the holidays with Lloyd, while Alan added his own dramatic act before the girls dragged Lloyd along regardless. At home, Marie and Alka argued over who would spend the vacation with Lloyd, only for Lloyd to announce that Chroma had offered him a hotel job, immediately prompting both women to demand reservations there, which Lloyd flatly refused. When Lloyd arrived at the hotel, the owner, a former royal guard named Cobal Lemaine, trembled at Lloyd's overwhelming presence and showed him around, explaining the strange incident where guests kept falling asleep mysteriously. Lloyd was assigned to work with a lazy girl named Kiku, and within seconds of being handed a broom, he cleaned the entire hall so thoroughly it sparkled, leaving her terrified and convinced he was cursed, though Cobal was delighted and officially dressed Lloyd as hotel staff. Cobal warned Lloyd about a difficult guest arriving the next day, Lord K9, whose cold demeanor intimidated everyone, but Lloyd's genuine praise of the carefully tended trees strangely softened K9, creating an unexpected bond between them. That night, K9 questioned Kiku about the strange sleep phenomenon, revealing he suspected a powerful tree was behind it, and when Kiku mentioned Lloyd's unusual abilities, K9 ordered her to drug him, though Cobal unknowingly drank the tainted tea instead, causing Kiku to panic and flee. The next day, Riho arrived at the same hotel for vacation and was stunned to find Lloyd working there, awkwardly rejecting his innocent attempt to give her a massage, while elsewhere, Selene arrived with her father, only to learn she was being pressured into marrying Alan because K9 was his father. Desperate to avoid the marriage, Selene nearly attacked Alan, but Lloyd appeared at the perfect moment, causing her to cling to him in relief, while Riho revealed that Alan had been found unconscious, forcing K9 to present Lloyd as a temporary stand-in groom to preserve appearances. As suspicions grew, Selene took Lloyd to the river, only to be interrupted by Riho, and later Lloyd's brother Shoma briefly appeared to deliver explosives before leaving, after which Selene dragged Lloyd away again. Kiku, attempting once more to drug Lloyd, was chased off by Selene's jealousy and fled into the forest, where she encountered K9's secretary, whose legs were revealed to be tree roots, exposing him as the treant responsible for the sleeping curse and secretly controlled by the Demon King of Seedling. When the treant tried to drain Kiku's energy, Lloyd arrived, mistaking the scene for cosplay, and moments later, countless treants emerged as the Demon King revealed his true form. Still unfazed, Lloyd politely asked permission to clean up the forest, and by nightfall had already defeated the lesser treants, forcing the Demon King to retreat toward the hotel. At the hotel, suspicions finally fell on K9 as treant attacks escalated, until his secretary revealed himself as the true enemy and attempted to kill K9, drawing Selene and the others into battle. Despite their combined attacks, the Demon King remained unharmed, and when debris fell towards Selene, her father shielded her, sacrificing himself, while Alan regained consciousness and used Shoma's explosives to distract the demon, allowing the Cannon sisters to freeze it solid. Believing the battle over, they rushed to save Selene's father, but another collapse threatened them, only for Lloyd to catch the falling rubble effortlessly with one hand, tossing the debris aside like scraps of paper before approaching the frozen Demon King, innocently mistaking it for another costume, until Marie urgently explained that it was a real Demon King and that destroying its core was the only way to end the threat, and that only Lloyd could do it. So Lloyd calmly climbed onto the frozen body, pulled the core out from inside, and crushed it instantly, ending the Demon King for good and restoring the secretary to his human form, while Shoma watched from afar with clear satisfaction at Lloyd's strength. Alka's voice echoed from below as Shoma revealed he had trapped her in a magic circle, warning her about the man plotting to kill her and revealing that the holy sword had already been removed, meaning the Ullus dungeon would soon open before leaving her behind. By the next day, the hotel had been completely restored by Alka's magic, and Selene reconciled with her father, who apologized for forcing her into marriage and promised she could choose her own future, even approving Lloyd as her partner, causing Selene to cling to him in joy, though she clearly wasn't the only one competing. competing for him. Alka demanded a massage after repairing the hotel all night, only to be accidentally slammed to the floor by Lloyd instead. And that night, Shoma and Minoko met an old man named Sue in a church, where Minoko begged for power to kill Lloyd, accepting demon-enhancing drugs without hesitation and transforming as Shoma smiled, convinced nothing could stop them now. The next morning, Marie lounged lazily while Lloyd fed her breakfast, unaware the others were watching, nearly getting strangled by Celine's belt in jealousy, until Lloyd showed them a royal request about a giant snake appearing in a nearby dungeon. The group gathered at the palace, where the king's childish behavior irritated Chroma, while elsewhere, Sue and Shoma planned to eliminate the snake themselves. Inside the dungeon, Alan panicked and stayed outside, Marie followed Lloyd out of concern, and Alka forcibly joined them, while inside, Minoko was discovered bound by tree roots, revealing her obsession with killing Lloyd out of jealousy toward Marie. Lloyd arrived just in time, shielding everyone from Minoko's relentless attacks until finally unleashing his full power and flinging her into the sky, only for a giant snake to appear afterward, revealing itself as Vitora, the clone village's guardian. Vitora explained his long feud with Alka, including how she once used his scales to make Selen's belt, prompting the belt itself to attack Alka in rage. And as chaos erupted, Sue tried to kill Vitora before escaping through a magic portal. Outside, Alan mistakenly charged a shadow he thought was the snake, accidentally earning credit for its defeat and receiving the title of Dragon Slayer the next day, while Lloyd sensed Sue's sinister aura lingering. As tensions between Azami and the Geo Empire rose, Alan was chosen to represent the kingdom in an upcoming competition, while Alka invited everyone to the clone village to revive Vitora. The group traveled through a glowing gate into the village, shocking everyone with its absurdly powerful residents who treated impossible feats as normal, from cannon travel to monster hunting, and Lloyd happily reunited with his grandfather. Chroma and Colin visited Alka's fields and found Matho still serving his punishment, content with village life, while back at Lloyd's home, Selene excitedly handed out wedding invitations to his family, only for a massive monster to appear outside, terrifying everyone except Lloyd's younger siblings, who treated it like a toy, making it clear once again that this village existed on a completely different level from the rest of the world. The children casually folded a paper airplane and sliced the poor dragon apart with it, leaving Selene in complete shock when she realized the paper they used was her wedding invitation. And that night, a grand banquet was held where Matho personally cooked dishes made from monsters he had hunted himself. After dinner, Alka warned Hyuga that Sue and Shoma were preparing something massive and that they had to stop the seal of the last dungeon from being opened, while Matho bowed to Marie and confessed that everything began when a merchant gave him a strange egg, which ultimately allowed the Demon King Habitan to possess the king and manipulate him, though Matho only remembered the merchant as an elderly man with a purely evil aura. The next morning, everyone rushed out because Vitora's existence within Selene's belt was unstable, and if he vanished completely, the seal of the last dungeon would open, forcing them to attempt his revival. When they reached the so-called last dungeon, Riho excitedly imagined untold treasure inside, only for Hyuga to explain that the holy sword was the key and inserting it would release countless demon lords before shockingly cooking Vitora's remains together to restore him into an egg, simultaneously severing Alka's connection to the dungeon and reducing her to a childlike form with half her power gone. As Alan's competition began back in Azami, Hyuga secretly lured Alka into the forest under the pretense of a private talk and trapped her in a pit, revealing her true allegiance to Sue and her intention to start a war by opening the last dungeon while falsely telling the others that Alka was gathering weapons. Lloyd later arrived, learned Alka was missing, and immediately went to search for her, while the rest returned to Azami, where Riho uncovered from Riol that Sue was the one who had manipulated her in the past, accompanied by a candy-loving little girl, deepening her suspicions. In the stadium, Alan panicked under pressure as Sue and Shoma watched from above, confirming that Geo Empire's real plan was already in motion, while Lloyd finally found Alka trapped in the pit, reminding her how she once rescued him from the same place as a child, prompting an emotional reunion. Elsewhere, Sue's group believed the clone village gate was sealed and Alka permanently trapped, but Lloyd carried her out using the village's cannon launch method and rushed toward the arena. As the competition officially began, the king announced Alan's opponent, shocking everyone when Minoko appeared in a demonic form, her power utterly overwhelming him, while Sue openly threatened Azami, demanding financial support or promising destruction through his army of demon-enhanced warriors. As Chroma and Colin attempted to intervene, Shoma blocked them effortlessly. The king firmly declared that even though Azami's forces were weakened after suffering so much due to demon lords, he would never shake hands with someone like Sue, and Hyuga, already expecting this response, activated her backup plan, only to be surrounded by the girls, prompting Riho to accuse her of deception, after which Hyuga threw several bombs that released thousands of giant grasshoppers throughout the stadium, forcing Chroma to officially declare war as civilians, adventurers, and soldiers joined the chaos. Shoma mocked Azami's preparedness before Matho confronted him directly, transforming and launching a fierce attack that even Shoma struggled to evade, revealing his boredom with the world and his ambition to control it, while admitting he guided Lloyd toward becoming a soldier so he could pursue his plans unnoticed, before casually blasting Matho away with a mere touch. Amid the battle, Minoko rushed toward Marie, not to kill her, but to express her twisted love, only to be kicked away by Philo, while Sue poisoned Chroma and Colin until Alan, burning with anger, severed Sue's arm, forcing him to reveal that he was a being created by Alka to eradicate demon rule, who became a villain after surviving as a forgotten hero and now sought to kill Alka and crown Lloyd as a new controlled savior. Lloyd arrived in a flash of light, confused and only intending to cheer for Alan, until Marie explained everything, pushing him to act, and when Hyuga unleashed a massive golem that absorbed Minoko, Lloyd struggled as the monster endlessly regenerated, crushing him again and again, until Matho reminded him of why he chose the path of a soldier, reigniting Lloyd's resolve. Riho showed Minoko her embroidered handkerchief, snapping her back to consciousness, allowing Selene to forcibly summon Vittora from her belt, while Lloyd unleashed his full power, shattering the golem into dust in a single devastating spell. Watching from afar, So and Shoma smiled in satisfaction, confirming Lloyd was becoming exactly what they wanted, until Alka appeared in the sky, annihilating the remaining monsters with a massive magic circle, only to be captured by Shoma as he retreated through a portal, promising her death was merely delayed. After the battle, everyone gathered at Marie's house, where Alka and Selene immediately fought over who Lloyd would marry, until Marie knocked them both quiet, and Lloyd cooked a massive celebratory feast as the world briefly returned to peace, though far greater wars and darker plans still loomed beyond the horizon. And that's where today's story ends, so if you enjoyed this epic anime-style adventure, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel,